Hey guys, Hackersploit here, back again with another video, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to perform the evil twin attack. Now this is going to be one of my last videos in the wireless penetration testing on WPA2. So we're going to be taking a look at how to perform the evil twin attack in this video, after which in the next video we'll be taking a look at how to perform a man-in-the-middle attack on a WPA2 and obviously on a wired network. So we'll be keeping that for the next video. Now I do apologize for the lack of consistency over the last 2 weeks in regards to the schedule. I've been working on a lot of stuff for the channel, so please do bear with me on that. The normal schedule will resume this week, and there are a lot of exciting videos planned for that. Alright, so let's get started with today's video. So if you're not familiar with what an evil twin attack is, let me explain it simply. The goal of this attack is to essentially duplicate a network, a wireless network, and you're essentially trying to spoof the network name and its MAC address in the hope that clients will connect to your access point. All right, so for example, this can be we can use a very simple example. If you're at a coffee shop and you are essentially getting clients to connect to your wireless network, how would you go about doing that? And this is where we talk about the evil twin attack. So your goal is to duplicate an already existing network so that you can get rid of the authenticity, and it is also a form of social engineering. So if you're at a coffee shop, let's say their Wi-Fi network is called coffee shop Wi-Fi, just something simple. I don't want to use any brand names. You will essentially get their router or access point MAC address, and you will spoof their network name, and then you're going to use the deauthentication attack to deauthenticate clients from the network. So when they reconnect to your access point, after which you can then perform a man-in-the-middle attack on them and intercept their traffic, as now you are the access point, so all their traffic is being directed to you. Now, as I said, the man-in-the-middle attack is primarily the second step of this attack, and I'll be covering that in the next video. Alright, so essentially what you're trying to do here is you're duplicating a network with the same network ESSID and the BSSID, which is the MAC address. Alright, so we're going to be using the AirCrack suite. We're going to be utilizing AeroDump NG and Airbase NG. So I already have my wireless adapter set up, and it is in monitor mode right now. So IWconfig. That'll open it up, and it is currently on WLAN 0 mon. All right, so we're ready to go. So make sure you have your interface in monitor mode if you don't have it already. So we're ready to go. So remember, we are going to be targeting a particular network and its clients. So to do that, I'm going to be targeting my access point here. So AeroDump NG. I'm just going to show you the current name, and I already have its access point BSSID, which is the MAC address. So essentially, when using AeroDump, we are specifying the network we are targeting and its clients. So we specify the BSSID. You can also specify the channel if you want. And I'm going to specify the access point, the interface that we're going to be using. I'm going to hit enter. All right. And the reason I'm doing so is because, as I said, I don't want to essentially disclose any of my neighbor's Wi-Fi networks. And as I've mentioned before, my blurring skills are not really good. So this is the network we're targeting, and we are seeking to duplicate or create an evil twin of. It is my network. It's called Alexis Broadlink, and we have the BSSID right over here. And we currently have one client connected to it. All right, so we are trying to replicate or duplicate this network. So to do this, I'm just going to split this up, and we'll leave AeroDump running over here. So let me just zoom in a bit here so we can actually see what's going on. So we're going to make use of Airbase NG now. So Airbase NG is very simple. So we're going to say Airbase NG. And after this, we now need to specify the access point that we want to spoof. We need to specify its MAC address, and that is done by the A command, as we did in the previous video when we were talking about the authentication. So we want to spoof this MAC address, and we also want to spoof the ESSID or the network name. Now we need to specify the network name as the same, which is very, very important. So ESSID, and we put the name into quotation marks, otherwise the name will not be able to specify it correctly. So Alexis Broadlink, and we'll close the quotation marks. We then need to specify the appropriate channel. In this case, the network is running on the channel 1 over here. Now, if you are going to perform the deauthentication attack, it is recommended that you run it on a different channel, but for now, let's run it on channel 1 here. And we are going to specify the interface, so WLAN 0 mon, and hit enter. For some reason, that is telling me, oh yeah, that is a incorrect spelling. That is not air, that is airbase. So I'm going to hit enter, and there we are. All right, so it's going to start the access point on that particular it's going to start spoofing with the access point MAC address. So if we restart the aerodump-ng session here, and we also specify that we are looking for that particular MAC address, or we only want to scan for that particular access point, you can see something interesting happening right over here, that the channel will essentially be moving from channel 1 all the way to channel 13, 14, the entire range of channels, and that means that the attack is working. We have created two separate networks. Now, of course, this is going to be it's not going to be visible when trying to actually display the current networks. It's going to display as one, and that is where the deauthentication attack comes into play. All right, so essentially for the deauthentication, we are simply going to send a deauthentication packet to the access point, or to the legitimate access point, after which it is going to be deauthenticated with. And since we are only spoofing, we are not going to get deauthenticated because we are not the access point. So any client connected to that target is going to get it kicked off the network and is going to connect to us, because the settings are same to that of the access point. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So right now, the current device that's currently running on my access point is my mobile device, which is what I'm going to be using. So let us actually deauthenticate this device right over here. But to do that, we're just going to deauthenticate all devices. So we're going to be targeting the access point. All right. So to do that, we're going to be using AirPlay-ng. And of course, we are specifying the deauthentication mode, which is done by using the 0 command, or 0 parameter. We're going to send 5 packets, and we're going to specify the access point MAC address right over here, and the interface that we're going to be using, which is WLAN0mon. All right, so after deauthentication, what's going to happen is the client is going to connect to connect to the evil twin network. All right, now I'm just going to run that one more because I do not have my network up and running. So that seemed to have worked. So I'm going to connect, and voila, you can see that I have connected to my evil twin network, with my mobile device, and that connected automatically. I simply just turned on my phone, and that was connected automatically. All right, and that's pretty much how an evil twin attack is carried out. Now let me just explain a bit of things, because it was a bit confusing. So essentially what we're doing is we select our specified network that we want to attack or duplicate, and we use its network name, or the ESSID, and its MAC address BSSID. So we're spoofing it, essentially creating a duplicate network that will be used to essentially that we will use to we'll first deauthenticate a client from the real network, after which they are deauthenticated, they will connect to us. And of course, this is very, very dependent on proximity. Now, I do recommend that when performing the deauthentication, it is vital that you actually have a longer deauthentication period, so that the clients can connect to you. And of course, this is going to be dependent on signal strength, because some devices might be closer to the actual access point rather than your access point or your wireless adapter. So that is also something to take into consideration. Now, your next question might be, how exactly are we going to perform a man-in-the-middle attack? Well, the first thing you need to do before actually end the video is you need to make sure that you have IP forwarding enabled, after which you can start analyzing the traffic that is being sent onto your network or onto your access point from the client. So you're essentially intercepting it. So to do this, we need to change the value of the IP forwarding configuration file. So that is done by going into the process system folder, the network, and the protocol, which is IPv4. Right over here, and we are looking for the IP forward file, whose default value will be set to 0. You want to change that to 1. So 0 is off and 1 is on. Very, very simple. So I already have mine set to on because I was testing this attack. And you want to hit Ctrl+O, that is if you're using the nano editor, and hit enter, and that'll write out the changes, after which IP forwarding should be enabled. And of course, we have not set up any bridging yet to allow for us to essentially intercept the traffic, and that's what we're going to be looking at in the next video in the wireless penetration testing series. That being said, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comment section, on my social networks, on my website, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace, guys.